Hey y'all, it's Bougie Badass. I'm here with the comment section. This is a new show I'm trying out here where we go into what all the crazy comments were this week on Instagram, Twitter, maybe a little Facebook. Gonna focus on Instagram today though, because that's really where most of y'all get really crazy and let loose and say the funniest, wildest, trolliest stuff. So without further ado, let's take a look at some of the top stories of the week and what you all had to say about it. So, the biggest story we have this week that's just been really pervasive and won't just go away. Everyone's tired of hearing about it, but they're kind of not tired of hearing about it. We want to hear more, but we don't want to hear more, is Jordyn Woods. Now, if you don't know, Jordyn Woods was Kylie Jenner's best friend, is Kylie Jenner's best friend. I'm not really too sure what's going on there, but the rumor has it, and it looks like it's confirmed via the Kardashians, but you can only take that with a grain of salt with what they have going on as far as their reality show and trying to push their own profile out there. A lot of people think this story might be fake, but according to the rumor, Jordyn Woods was caught hooking up with Khloe Kardashian's baby father / boyfriend, Tristan Thompson, at a house party that he had, which I didn't realize he had a house in LA. That's why she kept going back and forth to Cleveland, but that's neither here nor there. So Jordyn is, 22 years old. Tristan, I think, is 27. Khloe's like 35. And so now the whole family's attacking her, and Kylie told her to pack her shit and get out. And the first time she got spotted since the whole scandal broke loose was at an eyelash event. Apparently she's endorsing an eyelash brand, and she didn't quite look like what she normally looks like at the event. And some of y'all had some things to say about that. So let's take a look at the clip. Woo!
Everything that's going on, it's been real, and Laura has been super real. It's been a project that we've been working on for over 9 months right now. Everything that's going on, it's been real, and Laura has been super real. It's been a project that we've been working on for over 9 months right now.
So it sounds like she said something about everything she's been going through has been real, questionable, and lore has been real. I don't really know how that correlates, but people noticed that her clothes were a little wrinkly, I guess. She's wearing her real hair. Apparently that people think that's a sign of poverty if you wear your real hair instead of a weave or wig like she normally does. Basically, the running joke that people have is that she's pretty much in the poorhouse and the unemployment line now that Kylie isn't friends with her anymore, which I don't really know where y'all think she came from. Do you think Kylie picked her up from a Greyhound bus stop or something? But the reason they know each other is from high school. Jordyn Woods is actually really good friends with the Smith family. I think Kylie met Jordyn through Jaden when they were dating 100 years ago before she dropped out of school to start fucking grown men grown full-time and injecting her lips with saline or whatever. But either way it goes, Jordyn Woods is not a poor person that she picked up from the side of the road. She has her own money. She just has to move into her own house now. But either way, people had some pretty wild comments about that. Here's a few of them. 2000 Shipe says, Lord, Kylie done took her bundles. Y'all, she can afford her own hair. Like, don't do Jordyn like that. Although it did like she used to wear Kylie's old wigs a lot, so there is something to be said for that. We got Chemistry. Actually, that's a cute name. Says, Jordy, baby, your first appearance, you're supposed to show up and show out. Looks like you just showed up, babe. Which, she was dressed kind of regular, but I mean, is there a crime? Is that a crime? Is that a crime for you to wear a regular outfit and your regular hair to a paid event? She got a check. I don't know. She can buy a new wig. It's all right. Jasby Zulin says, her hair is longer than about all of y'all, but you're still talking. Her hair's not longer than mine. Well, let me look again. Maybe a little bit. Yeah, just a smidge, a couple inches. And then Nubian Mahogany says, yeah, support her, but the real question is, are y'all going to let her around your man or nah? I don't know. Well, honestly, Jordyn Woods has actually been around my man before. Maybe I need to ask him a few questions. I'm not sure. Should probably think about that. Probably need to make a phone call after this. In other news this week, a South African pastor has come under fire for his resurrection skills. Alf Lukau, who's apparently the richest pastor in South Africa, which means he gets a lot of that tithe money from his congregation, has been getting a little criticism because he rose a man from the dead live in front of the congregation. Seeing as how this man was clearly breathing before he rose from the dead, people have a lot of questions about it. The story tickled the fuck out of me, so we're just going to take a look at this really quickly. So here he is. He's raising a man who was passing by on his way to the graveyard. Apparently his hearse was passing by the church, and the family wanted to alert the pastors that they had a miracle for him to come perform before they go, give up hope and go bury him. Keep that in mind. Before they go to bury him, right? They're supposed to be going to the funeral, to the graveyard, to bury this very vibrant-looking, warm-skinned individual. Take a look. Clearly taking breaths, mouth moving. And I'm assuming this man hasn't been to many acting classes, or maybe he's just a big aficionado of zombie movies and The Walking Dead, because he seems to think that people who are resurrected keep their eyes bugged out and their mouths wide open in disbelief for hours on end.
Church of God. Look what's happening.
I also find it funny that nobody came to church this day expecting this to happen, and yet when he bounced up out of his coffin, no one took off running, because I think that's what it would have happened in my church, honestly. I would have got my purse and left anyway.
The coffin is empty.
Jesus.
The coffin is empty.
My good God.
You alone are God. You are God alone.
Jesus.
You are God alone.
He hasn't closed his mouth yet. Like, what is this? Honestly, I feel like, don't you think if someone came back from the dead, you have a few questions for them about what they saw on the other side? Or would you be concerned if they just didn't speak at all and look completely shocked? I mean, he looks like he needs a therapist now after his tumultuous experience with the afterlife. But it didn't end there. Of course, they had to take him inside and feed him. You can't come back from the dead on an empty stomach, obviously.
God of power. He's a God of power. Oh, hey, Yahweh. Hey, Yahweh.
Is that the first thing you want when you come back from the underworld? Like a rice and beans situation? Notice he's so committed to this bewildered look that he hasn't even let it up while he's eating from his plate. Or being fed, rather. At least he remembers how to chew. Anyway, I'm not one to rag on anyone's faith. You believe what you believe, and faith the size of a mustard seed can move mountains. So I'm sure somebody could be risen from the dead. My main question is, why is it that nobody in South Africa embalms dead bodies? Because honestly, if they went through the proper process to prepare this man for burial, since he was supposed to be on his way to his funeral, he really shouldn't be in any shape to be resurrected. Nor should he look like he has a fresh layer of cocoa butter on his skin and be breathing. But, that's neither here nor there. But let's get into some of the comments that we were able to see about this one, which were pretty funny to me. Maisie Hyun, I guess that's how you say that? Maisie Hyun says, he rose up like the Undertaker. I'm screaming. Honestly, he did rise up like the Undertaker, and that's a pretty funny. I really want to see this re-edited with him popping up out of the grave like the Undertaker, because that's exactly what he just did. Maybe that's where he's getting his death impression from. That's probably inspired by WWE. DJ B Smooth brought up an interesting point, what I didn't notice before, which is cracking me up now. He says, man died with his phone in his jacket, though, which, take a look. He really did. You look while he's being pulled out of his casket here. Right on the inside left pocket of his jacket is a cell phone. Like, who's he expecting to call him from beyond the grave? Who kept his phone on? Who's paying this phone plan so he can continue to get calls inside his casket? They think of everything, right? Craziness. And finally, to wrap things up, we have a story of Ariana Grande getting spotted out with a new boo. Well, an old boo, actually. It looks like she told Big Sean, break up with your girlfriend. I'm bored. And he listened because him and Janae Aiko, who had been dating for a while, have quietly called it quits. And the Shade Room actually caught the two exclusively out on a dinner date on Thursday night. So here's some pictures here from that. Looks like they thought they were low. They weren't. Cameras caught them. Ariana, Big Sean, and a puppy. Looks like they were just out kicking it. Pretty cozy for exes. I know some people are friends with their exes. I don't think Ariana is friends with anybody for too long before she gets back with them. Seems like despite everything she's been through in the last 2 years, she just can't stay single for 5 or 10 minutes. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're a new couple again. But that's not how they're playing it right now. But needless to say, nobody was expecting to see these two out together again, especially in the midst of her whole album run being all about being just with herself and learning from her exes and learning from all her past relationship mistakes. Looks like she's jumping right back into one of her past relationship mistakes. So here's some comments people had about that one. Whitney No Houston says, so it's Thank You Come Again, which is, her song is Thank You Next. Looks like she's not really pressing next on this one. She's going right back onto it. Deluxe Poppy says, I guess he's the one that taught her patience. Again, with the Thank You Next jokes. One taught me love, one taught me patience, and one taught me pain. Looks like Big Sean's the patience because she's hopping right back in the sack. Of course, in the video, she did write a little message saying he could still get it. So it looks like he just got it on Thursday night, despite the fact they want to play they're just friends. Naturally, with these pictures getting out and them not being able to keep their date low like they wanted to, they had the publicity teams come forward with a statement about why they were seen together, and they're trying to play it as though it's not romantic at all. So one of their reps told E! News, quote, Ariana and Big Sean have had a great relationship and they are still very close friends and will remain in each other's lives. It hasn't been easy, though, with both of their busy schedules lately, and they know it's going to get even harder in the next few months. Which, why would that be a concern? Do you talk to your ex this much? All my exes might as well be dead, but that's just me. I don't know. This was really difficult for them to publicly call it quits, but they thought it would be better this way so people know there's no bad blood between them at all. Once again, who cares? I wonder if Big Sean's going to go this hard for Janae to make sure there's no publicly no bad blood between them, but either way. So I actually left a comment of my own on this one because after all that, I said, pops up engaged next month, which I'm pretty sure I'm right about that. Watch this couple. Watch these friends and see how quickly they become a couple. I'd be totally shocked if that's not the way it's going. And that is a wrap for this week's episode of the comment section. Let me know what you thought about this. Let me know if there's some other comments that you saw that you thought were pretty funny pertaining to these stories and what other kind of content you'd like to see on this format in the future. Again, I'm Bougie Badass. Please subscribe, hit the bell for a notification to see when another episode is coming up, and let me know your thoughts in this comment section below. See you next week.